the sleeve, before unlocking the door to the bar. "You and I both know you're about as evil as a fly." "I've known some pretty evil flies in my time," he said, deadpan. Then he chuckled, losing the staid tone. "Actually, I took the night off. My wife says I need to slow down, so I've got my son working the boat today. Here's to hoping Adexios doesn't drop the oar this time and strand the souls in the middle of the sticks again." "He didn't," I breathed, unable to hide my shock. Talk about a major faux pas. "I'm afraid he did," said Karen, shaking his head. "I love my son, but I have to say, he's not the sharpest side in the armory. I acted preemptively this time, though. I tethered the oar to the boat." I laughed and let my longtime friend, who also happened to be Dad's best friend, into the bar. He kept me company while I fired on the lights and prepped the bar for the evening crowd. Thursday nights usually got quite the crowd, but with Survivor Burn in Hell premiering that night on the Damned channel, I knew we'd be missing a few familiar faces. Heck, I was taping it at home on my DVR. I never missed a season or an episode. Its premiere reminded me of how much I really needed to invest in a flat screen, another thing on my lengthy to-do list for when I made some money. I refused to borrow money from Dad because he always tried to tie it up in strings and clauses with subclauses. I intended to keep my soul, if I had one. Thank you very much. The bar that I'd named Nexus was mine, lock, stock, and mortgage. My retro 80s tavern, because that was the only era where rock truly counted, served as a haven for all the abnormal people in the area. And by abnormal, I didn't mean the escaped mental institution kind, but more the, hey, I hear voices because I see ghosts, and staff-wielding, long-bearded kind. I should add that my bar becoming a gathering spot for special folk living up top was not my idea. Originally, I'd just wanted a regular karaoke bar with salted peanuts and pricey cocktails. But, of course, bad blood will always interfere. In my case, my satanic side mixed with who knows what. Whatever had created me, other than dear old Lucifer, had packed a potent punch. With no effort on my part, the space around me for about a dozen feet or so ended up being a magic-free zone. Seriously, I was like a walking null field. That didn't stop the natural-born abilities of the supernaturals who liked to frequent my place, but it sure came in handy when humans with their own brand of magic started lobbing fireballs or zapping with lightning. It was the price one paid when too many people with magic gathered and drank. Falling down drunken warlocks arguing over who possessed the most powerful grimoire? Never good. Unless you were in Nexus, of course. Then all you saw were two old men swinging feeble punches instead of devastating earthquakes and meteors falling from the sky. Once word got around about my mostly magic-free bar, it became the hottest place in town for supernatural beings to hang out, and yet the mortals just walked on by. Funny coincidence, that. Or was that the hand of my Aunt Karma? She always did say I was her favorite demonic niece. At least my special patrons tipped well, if they didn't want spit in their drink. Don't judge. My staff worked hard, and they deserved proper compensation. The fact that I made sure they were treated right made it easy to find staff. I had several dryads who acted as barmaids, their willowy figures and swaying limbs able to gracefully sway through even the thickest crowd. Then there was Percy, my bartender and bouncer, who, with his half-giant blood, tended to get very little lip, a fact he lamented on more than one occasion. "How am I supposed to get any exercise?" he rumbled. Apparently, Jerry the rat shifter's comment to try living under a bridge was just the excuse Percy needed to go for a run. I'd have to make sure to credit a few beers on Jerry's tab for helping me out with employee satisfaction. To round out my happy working family, there was little old me. Okay, maybe not so little at about 5'9", over 6 in heels, and packing a nice left hook. On the nights Percy was off, to save my manicure, I made sure to keep my handy-dandy baseball bat within close reach behind the bar, because swords were totally